Welcome back to the 6.8 liter garage. Today's video, as you saw in the title, is Let There Be Light. And no, I'm not talking about the disco version of the logo here. I got the 6.8 liter disco light. My daughter said I needed a backlight that's signed, so she gave me that for Father's Day. So I don't know if I'll leave it disco or I'll pick a color, but for now we got the disco effect. No, I'm talking about these lights. I was walking through Sam's Club the other day with my wife, and I saw these solar lights. They're like pucks, and they have a mounting system. Oops. So you can screw that to a wall or a step or something, and then these just click on. They slide on like that. So it occurred to me I could probably build a bracket on the Arcdroid that'll allow this to lock in, and then these signs, like the USA sign, can be a 24-hour deal. I'll have a solar light mounted below it, so it'll light up the whatever I make. In this case, I'm going to do a test bracket today, and then I'll just weld it on here, and we'll have the light mounted for this one. But the drawing that I drew, the intention was to save it as like a piece of a drawing. So then in the future, anytime I do something, I can just add that drawing to what I've drawn, and it'll be part of the project, and you just bend it and be able to add the light to it. Anyway, that's the intention. This is pack of lights. You get 6 lights for 20 bucks. Pretty good deal. This won't be a drawing fragment that I could use for eternity, because probably next year you won't be able to get these lights. But for the next 6 lights, I'll have a way to add it to whatever I want to add it to. So let me get the garage set up and we'll cut it out and we'll see if it works with these lights. Okay, I got everything set up. 16 gauge on the plasma table, and I got the drawing loaded. So we're ready to cut this out, but it occurred to me, everybody might not have known what I was talking about when I said save a fragment of a drawing. It's just a regular SVG that I save off, and I can always add it to another drawing. Well, let's go to the laptop and take a quick look. I'll show you what I mean by that now, and then we'll get to the sparks. So I was talking about out there in the garage is combining 2 drawings. So let's open up Inkscape. So I'll save that solar light mount as a separate drawing, so whenever I want to add it to something I can. Whoops, I didn't mean new. Oh. So let's open the USA SVG. So that's the USA drawing, and so you can buy that from the 6.8 liter store, or I drew it. You can draw something of your own, and then when you want to combine another drawing with it, we can do import, and I want to import solar light mount. So it's a cool thing to be able to do, because fragments, like if I had an endless supply of these lights, then I could add this to anything. But I'm going to combine these 2 SVGs, so you can highlight that one, shift highlight that one, so we highlight them both. If I say path union, watch the lines in the USA. Well, all the internal lines of both pieces. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So I'm going to undo that, undo all those stupid jumps, and Control A to highlight both, and path. Instead of union, I'm going to do combine, and you can see now it's one drawing, but we have a problem. It has overlapping paths here, which we don't want. What we want to do is delete the stuff we don't need. So I'm going to highlight that node, shift highlight that node, and say delete segment between those 2. And then I'm going to go right here and add a node, double click, same thing here. Double click to add a node. And then I'm going to highlight these two, delete the segment between them, highlight these two, delete the segment between them. And then we simply highlight these two nodes and combine them into a single node. Same thing here, combine into a single node. And we can mess with this a little bit, but we got a little misshapen. We can probably just delete that node. Okay, I'll zoom out. Oops. And as you can see, now I've got the bracket to hold the light fixture, or the solar light. Oh, jeez. Sorry about the misclicking. So I got the bracket to add the solar light. I don't want to print. Document properties. And click here, resize the content. So now the solar light bracket has been added to the USA. All we have to do is cut it out and bend it, and the bracket drawing has been reused. Back out to the garage. Hopefully a 6.8 liter laptop guide didn't bore you guys too much. But that's what I meant when I said save off a piece of the drawing that I could use. I can add to any drawing to include this puck light. So I've got the drawing loaded. Plasma cutter set at 30 amps. The settings for the Arcdroid, 110 inches per minute for 16 gauge. Here, I'll show you the settings. Always check your settings, make sure it makes sense. 110 inches per minute, that's the key, and the rest of that stuff's pretty standard. Alright. I think I'll move you guys closer so you can get the sparks right at eye level. And we'll get her going. Okay, as you can see, it cut out pretty well. Very little draw, so the settings are good, but my measurements weren't great. So these two tabs need to go in those holes. And as you can see, the center hole's not quite big enough, and these aren't spaced quite far enough out, and they're not quite big enough. So I got back on the laptop and adjusted the drawing. I mean, I could fix this. I could use my, use a file or a die grinder and fix this, but that's not the purpose of this drawing. It should be something I can add to anything, and it should just work. But since I plan on reusing it, I just adjusted the drawing. Hopefully I adjusted the drawing well enough. We'll find that out in a second. But I got it all queued up again, and I'll fire up the Arcdroid and we'll cut it out again to see if it works any better. Okay, same settings as before, slightly altered drawing, and it should fit right on that piece of metal. So let's see what happens. Nice. And that's what happens when you don't hook the ground up. So adding the ground to the material, and I'm just gonna run it again. It should, nothing moved, it'll cut it. That sucks. Alright, so pick this up off the floor. It's still warm, but this is what I intended to happen. And it's still a little bit tight, but fits on there. And the dross is actually preventing it from sliding. I don't want to mess up the plastic, but let me get this cleaned up and we'll take the dross off here so it'll actually move and fit underneath the plastic better, but much better, much better. Okay, so I got it cleaned up, all the dross knocked off, and moment of truth, it fits on there, twists around, and the idea is that this light will be mounted here, but that open line there is for a bend, so open path I should say, single line open path is for a bend. So I'm going to bend that now, just a 90-degree bend. It's not because you need a relief to be able to bend 16 gauge, but it just marks where it is. Pretty well, and I don't even think I'm going to weld that. If it was a bigger, heavier thing, I'd probably weld that. Well, I have to get the welder out anyway, so maybe I will, but so for future projects, this will become part of the drawing and just be there. Since this one's already done, I'm just going to weld this to the stick and use it this way, because I don't need to cut out another USA, although everybody needs a USA sign. Today I'm not going to do that, so that's the next step, is to weld this on. Okay, I got it clamped together with the vice grips, and I'm just going to do a tack along here. Well, I'm going to weld it to that stick and maybe a tack across there. It's not going to take much to hold it, and that's that. Then I'll hit it with some lacquer to prevent it from rusting, and we'll be done. So welding with no gloves, that seems bad, like a bad idea. That ought to work. Let's see what we got. think that'll work. Alright, that's the end of the project for today. Got a little lacquer on here. Lacquer turns the mill scale black, which is kind of cool. But anyway, just to keep it from rusting, so I got some mill scale on here, or got some lacquer on here. Yeah, that finishes up the project. Ever since I did this USA sign, I thought it's too bad you can't see it at night. It needs a light. And then when I saw these, like I said, 20 bucks for 6 of them at Sam's Club, I thought, well, I should be able to use those, and it was pretty simple to get a bracket together that they can mount on, and turn it on. So when it gets dark, it'll have a light. Wasn't without a few mishaps. Had to draw it or alter the drawing, but hey, mistakes seem to get views. So anyway, that's the project for today. Appreciate you watching. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by going to the store. Go to this QR code, take you to the store. You can get merch, hats, shirts, sweatshirts, coffee cup, stickers, and also the drawings, like this USA drawing. You can get the SVG and do whatever you want with it. You can buy that, download it, and cut something from it, alter it, do whatever you want to do. There's several projects up there. So anyway, I appreciate you watching.